Hi everyone, so what I'm going to go through with you today is an example of an answer from our war poetry task. So what I'm going to do, I've already put it together and you have access to this via the website. So you can see that here, our website, I've just gone to the war poetry page, scrolled all the way to the bottom, and this is the document that I'm about to walk you through. Essentially, really important that you, like all of our documents, set it out properly at the top, just with really important information like your name, SACE number, the title of the assessment, just so I know what it is in case it gets lost. Make sure that you put your poems in some form, just so I know exactly which poems you have chosen to compare. And then it's always a good idea to put the question or even just number one and then your answer. So what I thought when I read this in order to answer it myself, I picked out some of the keywords. So I thought that these questions really asked me about the experiences of each poet, so their life, and in particularly in terms of war. So it's probably not important to talk about when they were born, how many sisters they have, etc. And then I also need to talk about the ideas or perspectives they offer on war. Okay, so obviously their experiences are going to inform this, and that's what I really need to focus on. And then I have some of those ideas here. So I have not just gone straight into writing my answer. I've actually begun with brainstorming, and I do this for every single task I've ever received, both at school, university, and beyond. And it's a really good way to make sure you expand on your ideas fully. So I've brainstormed Bruce Dorr, which war he's involved in, and then I've really broken down that war, because the war, for my two poets, that's the key difference between them, that they're from two completely different wars and their involvement was very different. So here all I've done is write down everything I can remember about Bruce Dorr from our research work and all the things that I think might be relevant. I've then done the exact same thing for Owen, trying to make sure that I've got similar information. So I've got the war, that he's British, he's Australian, and then their experiences. Now what I've done after that is I've gone through and highlighted what I think are the main points that are going to help me answer the question. So yes, it's one thing to talk about the weapons used in the Vietnam War, but perhaps not totally relevant to the question, particularly given the 100-word limit. So once I did that, I then started to put together my answer. And for you on that document, I have actually annotated with comment boxes, and all you need to do to follow that is to click each of the boxes and it will highlight the word that it is talking about. So just to expand on them a little bit, it's really important that the very first time you refer to an author in a piece of work that you use their full name, and after that you use their surname. Now in blue, I have highlighted some of the vocabulary that we've referred to in our unit. So if you go back to the website and scroll up a little bit, this is some of that language. So I've really tried to incorporate a few of those. And I've tried to talk about the text together as much as I possibly can. So you can see that in this first sentence, I talk about them both. I outline how I'm going to address the question and whether I'm talking about the fact that they're similar or different. Okay. In the second sentence, and you can see that throughout as well, in pink, these are the words that indicate a difference between the two texts. And again, that's come from the vocabulary list. So my first and second sentences really discuss the text together. You know, while this is this, the other is this. While this is this, the other is this. Okay. I have then gone through and deconstructed Owen, so Wilfred Owen's experience in the Great War, and then referred that to his poem and talked about, okay, his experience in that war directly linked to the idea or ideas that he presented in his poem. Then I've used one of those magical connecting words. Again, that's from our vocabulary list. So words to express difference, and I've used contrastingly, and then I talk about Dorr. So I pretty much repeat this section, but for Bruce Dorr, and how that then informed his poetry. Okay. And then I've also tried to draw a comparison between the examples that I've listed. Okay. What's really good about this paragraph as well, I think, is I've actually referred to some literary techniques. So even though that's not what the question's asking, I was able to sneakily embed that in terms of the use of the title by both authors. Now, every single poem is completely different, and depending on which one you compare, your answers, your examples, how you weave them together, what experiences you talk about are going to be completely different. So please don't feel like this example you have to, kind of mold in some way for your own. All I'm doing here is providing you with an example of how it could be done. So particularly those who have used Dulce et Decorum Est and Homecoming, please make sure that you don't copy this and that you're merely looking at it for help and ideas in terms of how to get your ideas onto paper. All right, so for those of you who are still looking for a little bit of extra help, I have a format here for you. Essentially, it follows teal, but there's no L. And that's just a good way of writing because it's nice and clear for your reader. And hopefully it means that you're going to be writing concisely, referring to evidence, unpacking the meaning, and really answering that question succinctly. So good luck. Remember that this is located on the website all the way down the bottom here, and that this example is annotated in full as well. So good luck, and this is due next Friday. See you, everyone.